Now I'm almost grown. Yeah, and I'm doing all right in school. Hey, gang. I'm sure by now you have heard that Chuck Berry has died. A great loss, but he did live to the ripe old age of 90, so that's not too bad. Personally, I feel that 150 years from now, when rock and roll is but a memory, in whatever we call a book, the line item next to the line of rock and roll, the picture next to that will be Chuck Berry's. It won't be it won't be Elvis. It won't be the Beatles. It won't be Bob Dylan. It'll be Chuck Berry's. Chuck Berry really invented a lot of the style, and was the first, not only the first rock star, but talked about what a rock star, the life of a rock star would be. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be doing Johnny B. Goode or Maybellene. Great songs and great playing. But I'm going to be doing, I'll do for you the solo to Almost Gone, and then we'll cover it note for note. It exhibits a lot of his chordal style, and it features a really cool syncopated chord run all the way from the top of the neck to the bottom. Really, really cool. So we'll cover that in just a second, and we'll do some of the others later. Okay, gang, see you in just a couple. Okay, gang, let's go over this in some detail. First things first, you want to download the tab from the link in the description below. Second thing is the sound. You want it clean and just with a little bit of slapback echo, okay? All right, so I think the first thing I want to do with this one is I'm going to play it at about half speed. And so I'm going to get going on the backing track, and then we'll play this whole thing at half speed, okay? And then we'll go over it line by line. Here we go. It is a boogie blues in G. Alright, gang, now that we've heard the solo at tempo and about half speed, let's go over it line by line. One thing that you should have noticed is that there's a ton of double stops in here, or chords. It's just his style of play. He really did it to the max. Most of his solos have that sort of, that kind of stuff in it, including Johnny B. Goode, probably his most famous solo, undoubtedly his most famous solo. And this one has it too. So the first thing we want to do on this one is there's a couple of pickup line, or there's a pickup line in here. That right there. And what that is, it's taking place before you play before it goes to that G boogie, before it goes to this. Okay? So what's going on there is that we're going to slide up on this is played on the second and third strings. We're going to slide up to, on the third string, the seventh, and on the second string, the sixth, and just kind of brush it up in a syncopated way. Okay, one more time. And that's it. Now here's the first line. Very cool and very characteristic. There's really only one maneuver that he does in a couple of different ways. And if you imagine formulating a G chord on strings 4 through 1, and on the fourth string we're going to play the 5th fret, third string we're going to play the 4th fret, and on the second and first strings we're going to play the 3rd fret, like so. Okay, typical G chord, if you can imagine this bar chord right here, but we're only playing on the first 4 frets. First thing we start out with is a rake. Okay, so we're going to rake through those 4 strings slowly, and then play a double stop on the first 2 strings. Okay? After that, we're going to play this. Now that is playing a double stop on the second and third string on the 5th fret, and then on the 3rd fret and hammering on to the 4th on the 3rd string. So it sounds like this. Very common sound. And then the last note in there is playing the 4th string, 5th fret. Here's putting it all together. All right, so here's that first part of the first line. Now the second time it's repeated, except instead of that rake, he just plays that double stop on the top 2 strings twice. Okay, so there's 2 of those essentially, right? The first one involves a rake. Now there's going to be 4 that are played kind of double time. Okay, so that's just now, instead of 2 of those on the top double stop, you're just playing 1. So it's like this. And there's 4 of those. Here's the whole first line put together. Now, the next thing that we do, here's the next line. All right, very cool line. We're taking that double stop on the first 2 strings, on the 3rd fret. And by the way, this whole part of the first line of this line is played on the top 2 strings. And we're going to slide it up. So we play this and slide it up, and then we're going to play 11 and 10. So the first one has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then each of the subsequent ones are going to have 3. Okay, so that's 11 and 10. Then we have 10 on the second, 8 on the first. Slide it down, and then we've got 8 on the second, 6 on the first. Now we're going to slide it down to this one right here, which is on the second we've got the 6th, on the first we've got the 5th. And now finally this one, which on the second we've got the 5th, on the first we've got the 3rd. And now we go back to kind of our typical double stop. Now I'm playing here, I'm playing the first three strings on the 3rd fret and the first 3 strings on the 5th fret. And then here we're playing 2nd and 3rd and doing our typical double stop where we hammer onto the 4th on the 3rd string. Okay, so that's that whole line. Let's do the whole thing. All right, now here's the last line. So first things first, we're going to do that same rake on the G chord and immediately go into this little lick right here. So here it's on the first string, the 6th fret, second string, the 5th fret, and we're going to bend that second string up just a little bit. So we'll play it 3 times and then double stop on the first 2 strings, 3rd fret. Okay, so here's that rake and that whole first part of that line. Okay, here's the next part. Okay, so this is again the same little double stop with the bend. 3-3 again on the first 2 strings. So this time we're playing simply 5-5 and 3-3 on the second and third strings, and we're bending up a little bit on the 5-5. Single notes on the fourth string, 5 and 3. Okay, that whole thing sounds like this. Finally, we end up with this. Okay, so that's a double stop on the first two strings, 3-3, two of those, and then we'll play 5-5 on the second and third, 3-3. And you can play either double stop or single note, both sound good, on the 4 and 3 strings, 5-5, 3-3, and we ended up with this chord. So this chord is played on the 5, 4, and 3 strings, and it's a D7 chord essentially. We're going to play the 5th string, 5th fret, 4th string, 4th fret, 3rd string, 5th fret. And that's the end of it. Let's listen to that whole line one more time. And that's it for the solo. Well, there you go, gang. Almost Grown, a great solo from a great guitar player and a great rock and roll icon, Chuck Berry. Rest in peace, Chuck.